All right, well, let's talk about the HILTI button Firestop and how it relates to fire protection utilizing BIM applications. So AEC professionals, they can use this application that is made by HILTI to populate their building information models with appropriate Firestop components, and this is easier than ever. It's through an automated clash detection process and product selection. The HILTI button for Firestop is an add-in for several Autodesk applications such as Revit, AutoCAD MEP, FabCAD MEP, and Navisworks Manage. This button for Firestop made by HILTI automates the entire Firestop BIM process by identifying and qualifying penetrations as well as recommending UL-listed Firestop systems, saving you time and giving you the documentation required by fire safety building officials. So some of you may know HILTI as a company that makes hardware for drilling into walls or floors, but also HILTI now makes, in addition to the devices that plug in those penetrations in the wall, such as the one you see on the right-hand side, the cast-in device, the sealants, the collars, and the fire brick. They also make the software that will automate the process of placing those components in your BIM model. HILTI is based in Europe, and it has its headquarters in near Dallas, Texas. Applied Software has created a landing page for the HILTI Firestop, so if you wanted to download that, this is the place to do it. So before we talk about the software, let's talk about the fire protection. There are three strategies that save lives and mitigate damages in fire protection, and they are containment, suppression, and detection. Containment, of course, is the process that restricts the movement of smoke and toxic gases and helps contain the smoke in the room of origin. Suppression, such as sprinklers, can help extinguish fires until the first responders arrive, and detection is a smoke detection devices application, such as fire alarms emitting an audible or visual signal to alert the occupants that the fire hazard is real. We can't rely on a single action or safeguard to keep people safe. But having said all that, we know that containment is better because you want to preemptively stop the fire before it spreads. So Firestop is required by building fire codes. It must be included in the design documents and specifications. Enforced by authorities having jurisdiction. Most field problems can be avoided by proactively including Firestop systems in the design process. Also, this is a preemptive way to save lives and assets and time and money. So all of these factors make containment a better approach for the solution of fire protection. So currently, people in the AEC industry are using Firestop, either applications or BIM software to specify Firestop products. They are either improvising in the field discussions. They may use cast-in devices at best. Their estimation process is inaccurate and requires a manufacturer representative for the product selection to come to the site, and that's just a waste of time. So the implications for these activities currently is that too much time is being spent on details and modeling, selecting the products, time-consuming decisions are made in the field, inaccurate bid results and change orders, inaccurate purchase orders, and sometimes you have the rework required by the fire marshal to go back and fix things. So how can the HILTI button Firestop help in this process? It makes the accurate BIM models takeoffs more accurate. It basically it automates the process of selection and approval. It automates the process of bidding and purchasing with bill of materials, creates automatic submittals, and and it allows you to start early in the design process and pre-construction to avoid errors and omissions. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. So we would recommend that you start the process in the design phase of the project and then carry it through construction documents and pre-construction way before it becomes too late on the job site and you have to wait for it to order. The HILTI button for Firestop is a 5-step process. Step 1 is to identify and qualify penetrations in the building. Step 2 is to export your BIM model to Navisworks. Step 3 is to perform automated clash detection. Step 4 is to define UL systems and products, and this is also automated. Step 5 is to populate the 3D model with Firestop BIM components, and this is the round-trip process back to the BIM authoring tool. All right, so in a nutshell, at a glance, the HILTI button for Firestop works with 4 distinct applications for Autodesk. One of them, of course, is 2 of them are based in AutoCAD MEP, and Fabrication CAD MEP, Navisworks Manage, and Revit. And this is fully integrated into the menu. What does this add-in look like inside of Revit? It basically has these 5 buttons. It has the ability to qualify floor elements, wall elements, and MEP elements. You can open the Firestop Manager, and you can also populate the Firestop products into the Revit model. It's a similar menu inside the AutoCAD family of products as well. All right, the process starts by isolating different categories based on their whether they are either barriers or penetrating types. We need to identify their fire rating, their material, and their insulation. That's how the application will be able to process the information in the BIM model and send it over to Navisworks for clash detection. In Navisworks, the process starts by finding the Firestop clashes, starting the Firestop Manager, and then you can toggle the Firestop status on or off. It's a very simple process because all you have to do is you don't have to go through the manual process of creating selection sets or search sets inside of Navisworks. It is automated. It's almost like a CAN type of clash detection. So really, it doesn't require a lot of training and prep work. Once the clashes are found, then you can simply browse through them and identify what they are, whether they are a pipe through the wall penetration or duct through the wall or slab penetration. The color coding that's generated ring that's generated around that penetration is either red, orange, or green. Red means that it's just been found. It needs further clarification. Orange, it means that we need further engineering judgment or EJ. And green means that an appropriate UL system was assigned to that fire penetration. The Firestop Manager that sits on top of Navisworks will allow you to list all the clashes and show you the detailed view of all the penetrations and the specific view on which UL system has been identified and applied to that particular case based on the fire rating and material type and the barrier type. After the UL system has been assigned to all the penetrations, you have the ability to unassign as you wish. You have the ability to match similar penetrations, generate a bill of materials using Microsoft Excel, and generate a submittal document for the project as in a PDF format. This is the document you would turn over to the fire safety, building officials, and fire marshal. The round trip ends back in the BIM authoring tool, whether it's AutoCAD MEP, Fab, or Revit, and the 3D elements that are the plug, the hole where the penetration happens, whether they are casting devices, colors, or sealants, will populate the model, and you'll be able to quantify them in a bill of materials or Revit schedules. Now let's switch to a live demonstration for that HILTI button for Firestop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to Revit, where I have here a Revit MEP model. Again, to start with, we're going to start with placing a camera right here in the floor plan view. Looking at this model, I'm going to show you how it's not easy to find those penetrations manually. I mean, this is like a forest of pipes and ducts and structure. So we have the structural model in here linked into the MEP model, and I'm going to expand my view just a little bit, and I'll turn on the fine level of detail, and we'll do the shading view, and let's zoom in and start navigating through the model. We'll use the full navigation wheel and start walking through this, and you can see that clearly that it is not an easy way for you to be able to identify those penetrations. It's just like a forest of things bumping into each other. Even with the latest tools in BIM, still the process is very, very difficult to do. All right, based on that, we're going to let the software do the hard work for us. So I'm going to switch over to a 3D view. I'm going to close down hidden windows and zoom in on this duct model. Let's see what's in here. So let's make sure we have the proper categories. We want to make sure that using the selection filter inside of Revit, we'll be able to select specific items such as ducts only, for example. These are the ones that penetrate the slabs and the walls. So we'll use the HILTI button for Firestop, add in for Revit, and start by qualifying MEP elements. Okay, so it lists all the duct types in order, so I can select them like that, and I can scroll down until I get to the next item. Use the shift key, and then come over here, and I can select the penetration item material, for example. Let me see if I can select this. So in this case, we have a spiral wound HVAC. I can even add an insulation if applicable to this. We have here different types of insulation, whether it's glass fiber or mineral wool insulation. Now, so since I already qualified those before, I'm just simply going to click OK here to let the application go through that process, select all the ductwork, and qualify them for the next task, which is the clash detection. So it's going through 4,200 elements. Okay, so next thing what I'll do is I will isolate those elements or category and apply hide isolate. This way I only have what I need. I don't need to worry about other things in the model. The next logical step would be to export this to Navisworks using this as simple export. You may want to check to see that your Navisworks settings are the proper settings for you, including you want to include element IDs, you want to convert element parameters, convert element properties. You do not want to include any of that stuff such as linked files and URLs. You know, make it as light as possible. It's very important that you set the project coordinates to project internal, if applicable, and we want the current view only. And let's not bother the export process with adding any room geometry or any of that stuff. We don't need any of that stuff. We need only the items that are checked. Go ahead and click OK, and then we'll go ahead and save this on top of the existing file that I already have. So it's going through 6,000 components and writes the NWC file, which is a kind of lightweight file format for clash detection. So the process continues with every BIM model, whether it's fire protection, plumbing, electrical, cable trays, structural, floors, architectural walls, all the components that will make up the fire protection assembly. All right, so we're done with qualifying the HVAC. I'm simply going to close it and open let me see if I can open the I'll open the plumbing model, and then I'll open the structural. Same thing. We have here the plumbing model isolated. We can select that, and then you will use the selection filter to make sure that we only have pipes or not plumbing fixtures. We have pipes, pipe fittings, or simply pipes. That's all we need really. And let's come over here and do the isolate category and apply. And then we'll run the HILTI qualify MEP elements. Okay, so we have 3,000. Let me make sure we have the proper. Okay, so I just canceled the. I may do this again just to make sure that I have the proper elements. I just want what's in the view to be qualified. So I'll just select everything in the view, and then I'll go to my HILTI application and qualify MEP elements in this case. Yep, so it looks like the same number. So here, same thing, you can select similar penetrations together. Make sure you have the proper penetration type, whether it's bare metallic pipe, tubing, non-metallic, etc. Here over here, where we can select the material, whether it's a copper pipe, aluminum pipe, flexible metal, iron, steel pipe, and then if applicable, we can also add the insulation. Once we're done with that part, we can simply click OK, and then it will qualify those elements for us. So the last one we do today would be the structural for slabs. And but before, of course, we will need to export the Navisworks model. Same thing, same settings for Navisworks model. We'll save that as an NWC file. This entire process is going to be live until we get to the last step when we populate the model, the components back in the BIM model. That last step will not be done live because of the fact that it is going to take longer than the time we have in this webinar. This is a hospital building and it has a lot of components in it. Alright, so once these NWC files are created, then we can proceed to Navisworks. The NWC file is being generated. We will close and switch to the structural file. In the structural model, we have linked in the MEP and the HVAC models into the structural. So as we zoom in here, let me show you what it looks like. You can see here that we have the MEP in here as a linked file. Alright, in the structural file, what we want to do is we want to isolate the slabs and the structure without the HVAC. And if we don't, then make sure we disable the conversion of the linked files. We're simply going to select the entire structural model and use the HILTI button for Firestop, qualify slabs. Same thing, any slabs that have the similar fire rating and barrier type could be identified this way. So we have a 6-inch concrete floors. They are 2-hour rated. We can specify that. And once we go through all the different types, we can, in this case, we have 74 slabs. We can go ahead and click OK, and Revit will generate, will qualify the slabs for us and make sure we have the proper filter here. Yep, that's 74. Okay, so we did qualify those. Now, next step would be to export the Navisworks file. Same settings as far as Navisworks. Current view, project internal, element IDs, properties, etc. And we'll go ahead and save that NWC file from Navisworks. Okay, I'm going to close this because we are going to fast forward at the end and see the final result. So I'll switch now to Navisworks. In Navisworks, you will use the append command, start a new project, use the append command to append those NWC files that we just created, namely the structural, the plumbing, and the HVAC. They come in Navisworks very quickly because this is a lightweight file format, and that's what the project looks like right now. We actually don't need to see those grid lines, so I'm going to try to turn them off. Show the grids. Okay. Okay, so no grids. That's what it looks like with all the HVAC and the plumbing elements in there. Okay, great. Let me see if I can change the background. The background should be better than this. Let's do the graduated. Yeah, this is better. Okay, next we will save this project as an NWF file inside of Navisworks. And I have another file here, so I'm simply going to make sure I have a different name for it. I will call it Final 3 so that it will be a different file. Start the process by going to the HILTI menu, selecting the Calculate Firestop Clashes. And this process is fairly straightforward. It will find the clashes. In this case, I think we have over 400 penetrations, and it will identify those without us having through the selection sets and search sets that are normally required in Navisworks. Shouldn't take very long, possibly like a minute or less. So once we have a list of clashes, we will need to save those clashes and then proceed into the Firestop Manager. In the Firestop Manager, we will look at the clashes, different types, and we will decide on whether we need further investigation or we can just assign the appropriate UL listed device to those penetrations. So if you have any questions, please make sure you type them in the chat box, and Amy will be happy to collect them, and then we will answer your questions at the end of the webinar. So please stand by. This will not last forever. It's moving pretty fast. Okay, so Navisworks has identified 449 penetrations, and it's going to quickly go through them and list them on the left-hand side in the Navisworks clash detection. This is the tough part. Let the computer do the hard work, and we'll simply just collect the results and then apply the Firestop solutions for this. Okay, so it's done. So it's that simple. I will go ahead and save this NWF file, select my Firestop results, and then switch to the, as you can see here, the selections are already being selected. We don't need to change that. I'll switch to my results tab, and in my results tab I automatically see my clashes. So here is clash number 1, clash number 2, and conveniently we can right now what we cannot see is that Navisworks put a red spot where the penetration happens. That's because the slab is red, so we could probably undo that right here, and then now we can see clearly where the penetrations happen. Let me skip a few here and show you some other penetrations. So you're looking here at the HVAC ones. I'm going to show you some of the plumbing ones here. So this is clash 82 between a water closet, vertical pipe, and a slab. Here's another one. And here's another one. Okay, so it looks like we're ready to get started. So we're going to go ahead and start the Firestop Manager, and it will go through those, and it will reach out to the HILTI server and pull down the code compliant UL listed devices that are the appropriate solutions for these penetrations based on code requirements. Okay, so the Firestop Manager now is being launched, and it found solutions for most of those solutions. So I'm going to go here and then list them by name. So it starts at clash number 1, and then we can go ahead and assign those the solutions to those clashes. Okay, so let's start with the clash number 1. Clash number 1, HILTI Firestop Manager found a sealant solution for this, and it shows you here what type of sealant, what's the UL number for it, and what is the preview of what the sealant tube looks like. In this case, clash number 2, no solution was found, So which means that what do you do in this case? You go back and change the penetrating type or material or the barrier type. In this case, I could probably tell HILTI I need somebody from HILTI to give me an EJ or an engineering judgment. I can do that for where the product is not found, for example. Okay, let me skip a few here, go down to class number 27. Here we have our cast in place devices, and I'm going to change some of those, for example, to a different one. So here's the cast in device, and here's the model, the product number over here. What I'm going to do is maybe pick another one, and I'll do that for a couple of those. Of course, the purpose of this is to find out how the HILTI button for Firestop deals with that type of thing. So I may pick a different solution altogether, such as a color. Okay, or I may pick a totally different solution, such as a drop-in device. And I did that for just a couple of those. Okay, so now that we've made some changes based on our previous experience, we can now run the quantities. Here are the quantities, including the ones that we converted 2 of them as to EJ, and we picked a different solution for these, for drop-in device and color. We can save this bill of materials as a give me a second here, as a, we can save it as today's date, and I'll just put because I just made one this morning, so I'm going to make another one. I'll call it B, and this is my quantity takeoffs from the HILTI Firestop Manager. The other thing I can do is I can look at the product cut sheets and the system cut sheets. The product cut sheets will take me to the HILTI website and give me some more information about this particular device. And I can also look at the system, and it will also give me a cut sheet for the UL listed instructions and installation as well. Okay, all that can be whether the cut sheet or the system cut sheet will be assembled in the submittal. So when it's time for me to do a submittal, I can generate one right here. And again, I'm going to today's date, and I'll just make it, I'll add the B to it because I already had one this morning. And that is going to be, it's going to assemble all of these results in one nice document. It will add the certificates from HILTI with the product cut sheets, and so I can come here and I can, simply edit this document and change the name of the project, etc. It has a table of contents. It's got the cut sheets for each product, and I'll just scroll a little bit down here to show you just samples of this. Here's more information about the products and how they are installed. Some more information about the material safety data sheets. Here's some certificate of compliance from HILTI, signed by HILTI. And so this is the type of document that you want to give to the fire marshal as a proof that you have met the requirements. Okay, so it's quite extensive. So we'll just go ahead and minimize that. Close down the HILTI Firestop Manager, and this will update those penetrations from red to green or blue or yellow, depending on the choices that we have made earlier. Here we go. So the the penetration that was here for this particular water closet was red before. Now it's green, which means Navisworks has found a valid solution for this. We'll go ahead and save this NWF file in Navisworks, and then switch back to our Revit BIM authoring tool. But before we do, I just want to point your attention that this comment section was not filled out before. It is filled out now. So again, let's go to something that we already know we've already modified. So for example, we modified class number 28, 29. So this one in particular, those we know that we have changed them, right? So we put a Firestop color on these. Here they are in the comment section. So this also can be further investigated using a report. So I can come to the report section of Navisworks. I can create an HTML tabular report, my favorite, and I can assign it to a specific person to install, for example. But then I, let me see if I can. I'm going to keep my comments in the report and go ahead and generate the report. So we'll give this report a date, which is 2017-05-02, HILTI Firestop report. Another way for us to quantify our results and disseminate that knowledge to the entire team of designers and subcontractors. The report is an HTML tabular. It can open in any browser. So let's see where it is. Simply going to that's fine. Here's the report. Let's see how big it is. It's only about 500K, so it's not a big deal. I can double click on this report to open, and as you can see, it's a very nicely formatted report with our HILTI comments over here. Again, this is something you can distribute to everybody. If you needed this report to be in one document with the images, you can save it as a PDF or you can save it as MHT. So from HTML to MHT, that will make it one document. Every element has an element ID that you can simply find using the element ID. So we can go back to the plumbing model or the HVAC model and search by ID. All right, in Revit, we're done with Navisworks. Back in Revit. As I said before, we will not go through the process of populating the model in Revit because it may take longer time than we have today. So I'll simply go ahead and open the model I just saved earlier. And I'm going to turn it over to Amy just in a few minutes. So please stand by with your questions. All right, here's the model. The only difference between the model before and now is that the model now has all these penetrations filled in with these cast-in-place devices. So as you can see, this particular HILTI device is a cast-in device that came back from the Navisworks model through the HILTI Firestop Manager. It's a legit component family that has properties, and because it has properties, we can quantify those. So let's take a look at creating a schedule. So we need to create a schedule using specialty equipment, and here it is. We have at the bottom of this, we can identify 430 components that came back from the Navisworks clash detection, and all of these are the exact solution, which will help you in ordering information from the HILTI website. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Amy for any questions. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a lot of questions. Let me see if I can.
All right, Robbie, we have a couple of questions. The first one, I think you may have said this, but just so everyone knows, where can we download the HILTI Button for Firestop app?
Yes, you can actually go to our website. We have a landing page for that, and search for HILTI product by name.
All right, and we also have a question about how much it costs.
Yeah, you again, contact Applied Software, your account manager, and they will let you know. Obviously, we would love to speak with you about it, not only about the cost of the application, which is very minimal, but it's really how you use it and how does it fit in your workflow.
Perfect. And how did Revit populate Revit families from Navisworks?
That's a really good question. So the Navisworks and Revit are talking to each other using the HILTI Firestop Manager. That's the if I may, yeah, we closed it down, but it's the window that just opened up in Navisworks. That's the HILTI Firestop Manager. It is something that is external to Navisworks. It creates a database of all the clashes and all the appropriate UL listed solutions, and it's a database that's being imported back into Revit.
Okay, and someone asked why we didn't demo in Revit 2018.
Because well, HILTI, I think I can talk about this right now. HILTI is working on a new version of the application that will be coming out soon. So we will please, you know, sign up. Make sure you sign up for that the version 2 of the HILTI Firestop application sometime late in June, and we'll use 18 for that.
All right. And there are some comments about not being able to find the link to the HILTI since we redid the website. So I will add that in the email that we send out following the webinar. You'll receive it tomorrow morning, and I'll include a link to download HILTI.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another question is, how does it work in fabrication? That was not shown in the demo.
Yes, so AutoCAD MEP and FabCAD MEP workflow is very similar to the flow in AutoCAD. I did show them how the menu looks like in AutoCAD. It's a very similar process. Basically, you qualify the MEP components or Fab components, and then you simply export the model into Navisworks NWC file, and it just follows the exact same steps.
All right, and can the report also include the cost as a column?
In which report? The Navisworks or Revit report?
It doesn't specify.
Yeah. No, the cost is not associated with the quantity takeoffs. Obviously, because the cost is a sales issue. So I would say that the HILTI website is your best source for the cost of these products. So that is not associated with the quantity takeoffs at this time.
Okay, and what if you forget something? Can you go back and make changes?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go back and repeat the process many times over and over again until you're satisfied that you qualified your MEP components, structural slabs, and architectural fire-rated walls before you send it over to Navisworks. So there's no limit how many times you can qualify and requalify components.
And that leads right into our next question. Why do you have to qualify the fire rating of walls and floors again if they're already labeled as fire rated?
Okay, so I'm sure you're aware that different people use fire rating labels in different ways. Someone may call a fire rated wall as 1-hour, 1-hour, and spell out the hour, HOUR. Some people may abbreviate and use HR. Some people may not use the dash. So because of the syntax and the spelling of the fire rating in the Revit type properties, the HILTI Firestop Manager needs a consistent way to look at the fire rating and make sure that it's able to read them appropriately. So on that topic, I think there is some surprises coming up in the next version of the HILTI Firestop, which I can't talk about right now. But I think there is a more automated process in that.
Oh, good. And will the HILTI button for Firestop run in Navisworks Freedom or Simulate?
No, only Navisworks Manage, because that's the only one that has the clash detection functionality of Navis.
All right. I think that is all of the questions.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. I hope that we lived up to your expectations, and we hope you come back for the version 2 of the HILTI Firestop sometime in June.